going. By the time I do it up a bit, like today here, we'll start finish line. Oh, there it is. Need one of those like fucking gyro ones. We're talking. Yeah. For a decent one. This is all cheap, man. Like this was like the post was like $20. A microphone system, I think that was only like $80. The whole setup only like 100. Paris for $1,000 gyro. It usually takes about a minute. It's a shit time too. They're only just waking up. It's 5:45. But man, like half my viewers now aren't from Australia. Yeah, it's UK. You ready, Jake? What you should do? Freak some people out, leave it on the screen, and stop people's cars and shit, and just do that, just to fuck with it. Fucking, I'm in my pits before, looking at tires. Do you want to clean? Comes over me, he's dead fucking me out. So he's walking off, and he's like, fuck, mate. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off, mate. Actually, I didn't test microphone. Give me 1 second. It's very organized. Yeah. That shouldn't take half. That's how mine are. Actually, 4 minutes before I gotta go live. I gotta go live. It's on stream. Actually, the mic wasn't on. Mic was on. Oh. But it was through here. Oh. That's. Oh well, I might not have heard too much. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Yeah. Nah. Oh shit, talk, man. Alrighty. When you're ready, press that button and give us a thumbs up. Alrighty, guys, how's it going? We're going to do a track walk for the tool drive portion here. We've got the track designer builder himself. Obviously, there's been a team worked overnight super hard. We actually saw them working on it yesterday as we were leaving. These guys have done an awesome job setting up the track, the new layout for tool drive. So we're going to walk around here. Jake, obviously, massive, work on the track. What do you think the grip level will be to start off things? Like a lot of the corners are quite similar. You sort of work that into the design. What do you think the grip level is going to be in a couple of corners that don't have the racing line on it?
I think the corners that don't have a racing line should be good because wherever there wasn't a racing line, we brought the turf up, and then we're actually kind of wet packing it, so to speak, so that it's like really smooth and tacky. So I think those spots should take rubber pretty good. As far as overall grip when we start, I mean, it's probably going to be the same as four-wheel. I'd imagine it's going to come in a little sooner, but I still think it'll take about a round to really see the track and the way these guys want to drive it, honestly. So, but I think we're going to be pretty good.
All right, sweet. All right, we'll start doing the lap. Obviously, we've still got turn 1 into the double. So that's pretty much the same as well, as it was for the four-wheel drive portion. The main difference, obviously, it's going straight ahead here. So it'll make it a little bit simpler, obviously, for two-wheel drive. There shouldn't be a massive difference. We'll be able to over jump it with a two-wheel drive, which will stop us from having the issue where we had in four-wheel drive having to hit that apex. Yeah. When you were sort of designing the track, what sort of things did you actually have to think of to incorporate into the two-wheel drive portion?
I kind of want to keep the flow of the track. You don't want the two-wheel drives to, you want to have the two-wheel drive break the least amount of traction as possible, if that makes sense. You kind of want to keep the track really flowy, and like for example, the double here to the 180 probably wasn't going to work in two-wheel drive. You're going to see four-wheel drives slide out here when they land, and it'd be even worse than two-wheel. So the idea all along was to keep this pretty smooth to that tabletop 90. This single should be pretty cool. It's got a bit of a booter on it, so you're going to have to slow up on purpose, or it's going to slow the car up on purpose so you can set up for that the tabletop jump. The tabletop jump, I'd imagine it's going to be pretty challenging, because it's quite a bit to clear. And, as you remember, four-wheel drive starting, these guys were giving it all they had to get over it. So that's going to take I would say it's going to take about a round for these guys to really get over that the way they want it to. But if you see here, there's quite a booter on this one. And it'll get, it's going to kind of slow the car up purposely. But with it being a booter, not a smooth transition single, it's gonna allow you a little bit more time.
First round
I think so.
to sort of clear up onto the tabletop. Probably see a couple of cars choosing to go single, tabletop, single.
Maybe.
Definitely will be a slower line though. So yeah, coming further around and stuff. Grip obviously will be there straight away for two-wheel drive around these corners.
Yeah.
Already has that racing line from four-wheel drive, which is great.
Yeah.
The rubber's already down. So next changes we have to see all the way around here. We still have the tabletop single corner and into the next single, but then we have an apex corner after the little short shoot here.
Yeah.
So this is the first, I guess, shortcut back around into the stutter section. So you guys kept the stutters as well. Did you guys think of potentially flattening out the stutters or anything to make it a bit easier for two-wheel drive, or just wanted to keep it all in as much as possible?
Oh, no way. I love whoops. I think it's the ultimate deal breaker. And I think you'll definitely see kind of a different line, because you're definitely gonna have to set up different, because this single here, this drop down here is gonna go straight to a 180. So I really like this section. It's technical. You could see quite a bit of passing here, especially after the whoops, setting up for that 180 over there. But this is a really cool part of the track, really technical, and then it'll really free up with the double triple rhythm in the back. So
did you guys actually test with this layout with cars on the track, or was it just a four-wheel drive layout you've officially tested with cars on track so far?
no, it was just 4-wheel drive. Yeah, I mean, this layout can go quite a number of different ways, and we were going to do a different variation, but Larry suggested what we do this variation that we have here now, and I think it worked out really well. It's got to have a better flow for 2-wheel drive. You can stay on the gas. This section is a little technical right here, but it's not really high speed, which is nice. It's you're gonna have to find your finesse through this drop down 180. This is gonna be a really cool section here for setup and passing, I think. So
Yeah, and the drop down here as well, as we saw on four-wheel drive, it's going to destabilize the cars, especially two-wheel drive. The fact we have an apex right after it as well.
yeah.
We'll see a couple of cars rolling over in this one, trying to turn a little bit too heavily into it.
Well, like I was talking about, as you can see, when you pack this here, and this was covered with turf, you can see it's really smooth and tacky. The turf actually keeps the moisture in the ground. So when we wet pack it, quote unquote, it should take rubber really quick. So, and I think this was important here, just coming out of this corner, setting up for this triple. I think this will take rubber quickly, and I don't think anybody will have a problem tripling. So
Yeah, no, yeah, I can actually feel it on the shoes. It actually feels
it's
stickier.
super tacky.
Yeah, sweet. So once again, coming into the triple, we have the same, pretty much just a little bit longer of a run up for the triple.
Yeah.
For two-wheel drive, should once again be able to clear this pretty comfortably. The four-wheel drive, a lot of them were over jumping it, so this shouldn't be too hard at all to clear. And then we go straight ahead from there. So we go all the way into a double. So you guys actually built up a double as of yesterday. We saw you flatten it out. I got the whacker out there obviously overnight and just flatten it right out. So how many hours would you say that you've taken to just do the track? Obviously you guys are still working on the grass, but how many hours so far do you think you worked on it?
It was about 4.5, 5 hours. It didn't really take all that long. We were talking about taking a jump out with the other variation that we had, but that would have taken more time. But with just adding jumps, it's easy. I mean, putting dirt in is easy. Taking jumps out is always a pain in the ass. So, but I really like this little double here. I think this is going to be really cool. That double is there's no kicker on it. It's just going to send you over and set you up for that high speed 90. So I'm really looking forward to this section of the track. This should be really, really cool.
So yeah, it has really opened up the sort of back end of the track now. It's going to be a really fast-paced rear end of the track. Triple into the double, as you say, high-speed double. A bit of a sweeping corner as well. It's not an apex or a real tight apexing corner.
That was the idea for sure. That was the biggest idea. The idea was to make sure these guys keep speed through here. I'm looking forward to this one. This double should be cool.
What do you think lap times and stuff are going to be like? Are you thinking we're going to be in a similar sort of lap time, or you think a little bit higher, even though it's a higher flow track? What are your thoughts?
Good question. I think with any layout that we've always put in here, you're not going to see a big variance. As far as two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, maybe half a second at the end of the day, but I think for sure starting out, it's going to be longer. Guys figuring it out. This section of the track in the middle is a lot more technical and it's a little bit slower. But man, I don't think we're going to be that far off from what we've been seeing. You know, I would say the variance between 2 and 4 is always, I would say, half a second, 0.6. So I think we'll see the same thing then.
Okay. Yeah. Might start off a little bit slower, do you think, though? Maybe like sort of mid to high sort of 23s and then sort of break on in? Or do you think we'll be straight on pace? Like, as in the top guys, straight on pace?
It really depends on what the track does. I mean, you can always kind of predict what's going to happen, but you never really know. You know, these clay tracks are completely predicated by the outdoor weather. And I mean, believe it or not, I mean, it could be blowing 50-mile-an-hour winds for 20 minutes outside, and this place will, you know, the track will dry like that. So, you know, it's just a waiting game, really. You kind of, you know, just keep as much water as you can on it, but you don't want to over flood it because you don't want to wash a groove away. But I think with all the practice that we have, you know, we have four rounds of practice straight away, and then we go into control. I think by the end of open practice, we're gonna have some wheelies out here. I think it'll be really good. So
yeah, epic. Love a good wheelie. Yeah, and final corner, pretty much the same as what it was before. We have the short chute coming into the hairpin corner, backing itself into the big triple. Obviously, the big triple, it was catching a couple of 4B drivers out, so two-wheel drive is going to be that little bit harder again. So this one's probably going to be the hardest jump on the track for the two-wheel drives to clear, I'd say. The other ones, you know, onto the tabletop's going to be tough as well, but I have a feeling this one's going to be the real kicker in it. So yeah, we'll see how the two-wheel drives handle this one. As you say, did you have any two-wheel drives come out here on this track? Oh, sorry, on the previous track the other day?
Yeah, and we didn't really have a problem even with 17.5.
Oh, wow.
But you know, we weren't running AKA tires. You know, we were all running, you know, soft stub J Concepts tires, or, you know, or Proline or whatever. But I don't, you know, starting out, this jump is going to be the toughest thing for sure, and especially coming on the straightaway. We did some work on the track. They're, you know, coming on, it's probably gonna be the loosest part of the track because of where we brought the dirt in. So that's gonna take some time to get figured out. But you know, like all the rest of the track, it'll come in just fine. But the track coming in is definitely gonna be a little bit slower than it was in four-wheel drive, I think. But like I said, you know, it's just a guessing game from here. We're just gonna give it our best as far as getting prepared and, you know, making sure we monitor the water well, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great time again. So yeah, definitely looks like a much faster flowing track, which is great for two-wheel drive. This looks like a really fun layout again to drive. Like four-wheel drive portion was epic to drive. Yeah, had that sort of nice mix between techie sections as well as the fast flowing sections off the front straight there. Nice rhythm sections as well. Like a lot of tracks nowadays, you know, you have just jumps plotted around the place, whereas, you know, they're always lacking that rhythm section. You guys nailed it with that front rhythm section. And yeah, incorporating the corner into it just added that extra level onto it as well. So off the triple, onto the front straight, hard on the gas again. You know, we're going to see cars understeering into the wall. It's going to be the hardest part, allowing your car to rotate properly into the corners as well as getting the on-power steering. So that's going to be the tough part coming onto the straight so hard.
I mean, especially the end of the straightaway, you're going to be able to carry a lot more speed because you're not going to have to whoa up and think about doing that 180 after the double. So you're going to see some pretty fast stuff coming off the straightaway for sure. And then, you know, with that single booter, it should slow you up just enough to set up for that tabletop. It'll be fast for sure.
Yeah. All righty. That pretty much wraps it up for a full lap around here at Hobby Action for the IFMAR World two-wheel drive portion. Once again, they ran four-wheel drive first, two-wheel drive after it, get that a bit of rubber into the track. And these guys have done an awesome job, guys. And we appreciate all the effort you guys have gone through. And we've had a couple of issues with tires and all that sort of stuff, but in my honest opinion, it made the racing better. Like everyone was on a very even playing field. Other than that, thank you very much, and we'll see you around, man.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Press